Hello everyone, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Dmoney. Totally not a reference to my next video in production, Wink Wink's Nudge Nudge comedy. So you might be wondering, what am I doing here in front of a camera instead of making a stop motion video? Well, I'm still taking a break from animating because, dear lord, that season finale, I have never crunched out a video so hard. But you might be wondering, what am I doing? So I'm going to be taking you guys down a fun little behind the scenes look at my latest Spyro Sparks video. One, because I feel like I should give you Spyro fans a lot more stuff, because you guys kind of, started this crazy series. And two, I just thought it would be fun. I've always enjoyed watching behind the scenes videos, so I'm going to make my own little one and see if it works out well. Hopefully. I've never edited a lot of live action, so yeah, let's get into it.
Yes, these kind of videos do have a writing process, you could say. More so, I just kind of come up with a joke and that's how I do it. But for this video, it went through a lot of rewrites apparently. Yeah, not kidding. So the OG idea was to have none other than Hunter and Spyro work together for a joke. It was always going to be Spyro and Hunter in a race. But Hunter would fall on his face and Spyro would win. Well, not really, because right before he enters the finish line, he turns around and there's Hunter standing there, and the punchline would always be, "That's why you don't race with cheetahs, because they're a bunch of cheaters." It was going to be a horrible pun, and that was the whole joke of the video. But then I rewrote it, and the only thing I changed was that I would put them on skateboards because I didn't want to animate them running. Yes, I'm lazy. Then I rewrote it again for another time, but this time I decided to change the entire joke and have it be a joke about weird collectibles you get for doing weird tasks in video games. And one of those was having Spyro find Godzilla in an unlockable dad statue. Yeah, that was it. That was the whole joke. It was going to be Godzilla appearing, Spyro saying, "Wrong franchise, buddy," and then Godzilla leaves. And that was the whole joke. I'm real funny, so yeah. That was the whole thing, but then I realized, oh wait a minute, I could try this again, but this time have a reference to that weird flossing skeleton. Yeah, weird flossing skeleton. Because I thought that was such a weird thing to have for doing such a hard task, that I decided to change it to that. Except it would be an elephant, Spyro would think he's going to get crushed, because it was actually a reference to A Hero's Tale. If you're unaware, in that game, Spyro gets crushed by a mammoth. Even though I had an elephant, I was able to work it into the script by having it transform into a robot. Spyro thinks it's a secret boss fight, but then it turns out he just does the Fortnite default dance. Is the joke funny? No, but it's surrealist comedy, which is something I'm kinda good at, where I just use surrealism to tell my jokes. But overall, the video's writing was hard, because I just sat down thinking, how can I make this funnier than just a terrible pun? Then I was like, oh, I could just have a weird unlockable, and the joke would be surreal. That's how I wrote it. Most of these videos are not planned, I just come up with a joke and then I animate it. But now I'm using storyboards, which is why you see me writing on a whiteboard here. So yeah, that's how I came up with this. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to set building. Set building is something I've had some experience with, but not a lot of. The OG Spyro Sparks first episode actually had a really good set, and I'm happy with how it turned out. But you can tell I spent all our energy onto making that one set. It took me and my sister literally like 1 month to make it, and it took us even longer to clean it up. I'm just saying, if I ever do that again, I'm putting tinfoil down before I put the clay down. Should have did that the first time. But overall, you may have noticed that the new aesthetic of the show is simply just simplistic backgrounds, which is just my style. I just don't have the time nor the energy to just make these super overcomplicated sets anymore. But this cardboard box was the perfect amount of complexity, where it's just simply a box on the ground and another box made into a corner, and that was the perfect amount of simplicity. It's easy to make, easy to set up, easy to set down, and perfect to light, and I am so happy that it looked so good. I literally just set it up and I was like, yeah, this works. So how did I make it? Simple. In the time lapse as you're seeing, I simply just put some cardboard on the ground and made a corner. The only thing that's slightly complex about it is the lighting, and even then not really. It's just two lights that just so happen to get the perfect lighting, and I'm so happy about that. Overall, a great set to make, not that complex, but is very good for decorating, which is what I'm going to do now for these kinds of sets to make them better, because I got more stuff to make, you know, like sets look complex, and I'm going to start doing that a lot more. This is a great experimentation, and I'm happy it turned out so well. What is this place supposed to be? It's a hole! It's a hole, or it could be a log cabin. It's whatever you guys want it to be. It's just a big old box. I'm so creative. Oh boy. Next up, assembling the cast. I guess, I don't know. So, what makes Spyro so unique from my other series? Well, he's not an action figure, and he's especially not a character I resculpt every episode. He's just a little clay character I can reassemble on the fly, because unlike my other clays, this one never hardens. Well, other clay doesn't harden, but this one's able to keep its shape a lot better, because it basically like is hard but not really. It's a very tough to sculpt. Literally, I hate when I have to resculpt him, because oh my god, I have to like break my fingers to get this guy into the perfect shape. But overall, he's a fun character to assemble. He simply is head, a body, a tail, and legs. That's it. And I just simply put them all together for every video. Not that complicated. He does have some fun features though. He has multiple eyeballs, such as squinty eyes, big eyes, and normal eyes, which I switch out whenever he needs to give a better expression, like exaggerate. And yeah, he does have one flaw though, which you see throughout the animation. Whenever he has a bit of a neck malfunction, as I'll call it, oh dear lord, you can see the little metal thing holding his head to his body stick out. That's just a problem because the clay basically is like scraped away as I move the head around, so I have to be very careful. Luckily, it's not that big of a deal. Also, the teeth is just little white clay. It was originally supposed to be nuts. Not a long thing to talk about, but I do have a fun time talking about the fun little behind the scene facts of how I make Spyro and, well, clay characters. So let's move on to the more interesting thing to discuss, the animating is one of my favorite things to do. It's simple. I put all these characters into a fun, unique style of just their whole bodies going into it and just having fun. You know what? I had so much fun, I'm just gonna let this time lapse show you how it's done.
Spyro now has giant eyes. Isn't that surprising?
God dang! Oh crap! His face is falling apart. Somebody call 911. Put your eye on your face, Spyro. Why do you fight me? Put your eye on. He is now surprised Spyro. That's what his form is. Not copyright because I don't own Spyro.
Alrighty, and to finish it all off, all these scenes were done in one day. You can even tell because the room gets darker, implying that it's turning nighttime. So yeah, that's right, this entire video was done in one day, and I'm pretty proud of it. But you wanna know what else was done in one day? Editing. And in order to explain how I did it, let's have a live action me explain it. So live action me, how did we do this?
Editing. It's something I also like to do a lot. Like animating, it's fun. While animating is all about getting the characters to move and stuff, the editing brings it to life. Many of my videos have very complicated editing timelines. Not gonna lie.
What a shame.
Yeah, you could definitely see him. But for Spyro, he's very different. Unlike my many other timelines, he's simple. It contains only 3 timelines of editing and sounds. Because unlike my many others, Spyro only has 3 things. The audio for his voice, the music, and the background noise. And I only add 1 more when that part's already covered in the timeline. Simple editing, which allows me to get videos out very quickly. And as I said before, I was able to do it all in one day. Am I impressed? Yes. Do I think it could have been better? Kinda. But overall, that's it. Yeah, editing for Spyro videos is really uninteresting. It's literally just drag here, drop there. But there was a sneaky little editing trick I did. Spyro was edited. Well, more like the elephant was edited. If you're unaware, I accidentally animated one scene incorrectly. The video was supposed to have the elephant say, you know, thank you, Spyro, now I can eat my nuts. Spyro's all like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And then he sucks in all the teeth. Originally, I just edited it where the elephant just says it, and then he sucks up all his teeth, which is why Spyro looks like he's reacting to something in that first clip of him. So yeah, I actually edited it. This is what the original looked like. This is what the new one looks like.
Thank you, hello. I want to finally eat my nuts.
There is a difference, trust me. So yeah, that's how I made the video. So what about... Overall, video was one of the easiest. Spyro Sparks is an easy series to do, which is why these behind the scenes videos was easier to do. I just made a video in a day, and I recorded myself doing it, and I explained it, which is why I made this, so I could explain how I did it. Overall, Spyro Sparks is a simple video series. Don't start repeating yourself. But that's it. This is how I made the video. Overall, 1 day of production, and that's it. Yeah, I know, impressive, but there is a special little thing for this video too. The Q&A. Now we get to finally answer your questions about Spyro. I hope they're not weird. So anyway, let's move on to the... Alrighty y'all, it's time to finally answer your guys' questions. This Q&A has been built up for long enough, so let's get into it. Kelly Server asks, do you ship Spyro and Cinder? I'm sorry, I sadly do not. I'm more of a Spyro and Allura shipper guy. Anubis TDG asks, question for Spyro, why is life so unfair? That's a great question. Spyro, why don't you answer it? Well, life is unfair for a multitude of reasons, but the main one is definitely that 2020 and 2021 are not that different. Except we go to school now. Yeah. Well, that and also the pigeons are making everyone really... Allura asks, do you plan on creating a Cinder figure for your animations? Well, not currently, but I do plan on adding her one day. Only if I can think of a funny skit, because, well, it's not limited to the original trilogy. These are skits based on all the Spyro games. So when I think of a funny The Legend of Spyro joke, I'll do that. Allura actually has a two-parter question. What inspired you to animate Spyro in stop motion? Well, a multitude of reasons. One, I was inspired by a guy called Lee Hardcastle. I loved his animations, wanted to do my own claymations. Two, it's the only animation type I know how to do. I know somewhat of 2D, but not really. I don't know how to make drawings consistent. That, and I just like the claymation style that I was able to create because it was fun. It's a fun little thing to do. Overall, I just made him stop motion because that was the only way I knew how to animate. Not a really interesting story. That, and also, I just like the stop motion style I chose. I don't know. I like the chibi fight version. So that was it. The Q&A, not long, but I was able to answer questions that I was happy I was able to get. So thank you guys at the Spyro AMINO for sending them in. Can't wait to answer them next time, the next time I do a Q&A. That was confusing. Can't wait to answer them next time. Alright, see you guys later. I gotta go do stuff. I don't know what though.